Hi everyone, it's me, your friendly neighborhood crypto guru, Mr. Soon. So people, are you all here to see how you can own a hut in Bali and still keep your kidneys? Okay, jokes aside, today we have an awesome guest joining me. And it is Joshua from MadWorld, its own station season 2 partner, and the project called MadWorld apparently. So what's MadWorld? MadWorld is a free-to-play mobile game set in a present-day dystopian world developed by Carbonated Games. And after the collapse, society lies in ruins, and it's up to you, a survivor, to rebuild starting from your own hometown. Yeah, Joshua, can you care to elaborate on that? Can you explain what's in it for me? What's MadWorld about?
MadWorld is a really interesting ecosystem world that we've built. It's kind of on the premise of our CEO's experience during the LA riots during the 90s, where the world kind of fell apart and LA was just in shambles within a day. So the main vision is often post-apocalyptic worlds tend to be very far out into the future and not accessible. And MadWorld is set in present day, like what's happening today. It's just with this veneer of what's happening during this thing called the collapse, right? So all the power goes out, internet goes out, communications go out, and the world falls apart. And so what we've built is this world where you're living it as of today, but you're living it through a different lens. And our titles are very shooter-based, strategy-based, progression-based. And the ultimate aspiration is to get land, own the most amount of land within games, and then top the leaderboards and kind of control your hometown, control London, control Dubai, control every place in the world, and kind of dominate the battlefield.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, what's the secret sauce that makes MadWorld PVP stand out in the super crowded blockchain gaming space?
It's a really, really good question. So I think what has us standing out is MadWorld PVP is a companion app to our main title, and it's very strategy based with real world stakes associated with it. You're able to control countries, use tokens that change in value, and work to get your country tokens listed for trading. It's super, super easy to jump into. There's layers of strategy and social coordination. And I would say it's a combination of the board game Risk plus decentralized finance, and every move matters.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. But yeah, if you had to pitch this game to a total noob like myself, what are the 3 coolest features they would want to know about?
If I had to pitch the game to someone that is totally new to the game, I'd focus on the 3 standout features. The first is the strategic warfare and the AI-driven attacks. So the main objective is to become a country leader, and then you decide what nuke or power attack or healthcare system attack or taking away people's food, and launching an attack, even a custom meme against another country, and you could steal the country's tokens. The second bit is the country tokens and what's called a bonding curve, similar to pump.fun, where you kind of buy things, as more people enter, the price kind of goes up. And so, the price rises and falls based on the demand and supply. And so that allows people to kind of get to a certain dollar amount, and then there is a token listing. The third is the social and collaborative play. And so you're not just a lone player, you're coordinating, you're chatting, you're strategizing with others, and your decisions collectively shape the global leaderboard. So it's a giant game of Risk, and you're putting those strategies, competition, and a little bit of madness into PvP.
And don't you think that using real countries is kind of scary to some players? Why don't you switch to artificial ones?
That's a great question. So in our game, you can actually memify the country. So you can change the flag, you can change the name of the country, and so you can kind of customize it and tailor it to kind of fit whatever your needs are, right? So if you want to change the United States to Elon's new breeding ground, you can and should. So we're really kind of celebrating the meme culture by allowing people to kind of customize and adapt the game however they see fit.
Oh yeah, that's cool. But wait a second here. What's the ideal player for MadWorld, and how are you pulling them in? Any tricks up your sleeve?
Yeah, I would say the ideal player is going to be like a DeFi whale that's comfortable interacting on chain, really likes the idea of risk and reward, stealing other people's tokens and kind of laughing along the way. And then eventually working towards, the DEX token listing. So it's really, I would say, crypto native first with social interactions. Those are the important people that we want playing the game.
Yeah, I kind of feel this vibe. So alliances, betrayals, all sounds kind of spicy. But yeah, how do these mechanics basically shape the game's overall vibe?
It's a great question. So one of the really interesting things is because of the social coordination, some people are good and some people are bad, right? So part of the game rounds, we give 3 attacks to the top leaders, as well as a random attack through to another country leader. And you can align with the other leaders, but you can deceive them, right? So you can say, like, let's say that it's like Canada, Mexico, and the United States are top 3. And they all say we're going to attack Guatemala. And someone coordinates and says, okay, you know what, let's just attack the United States instead. There is this level of deception, social coordination, and alliances that you kind of form through that. So that's, I think, what's really interesting about our game is you're able to kind of have these coalitions or these defunct people that go rogue to kind of coordinate attacks, which ultimately lead to acquiring tokens.
Yeah, that sounds super spicy. But seriously, how did you come up with such genius idea of mixing strategy, resource management, and also meme culture into one single game?
For us, PvP, came from a mix of inspirations. So we wanted to kind of create a game that felt a bit chaotic, unpredictable, and something akin to where, the world that we live in, where it's like fun but immersive. Strategy and resource management was a natural fit for us because they mirror real world like power struggles. It's like if nations are in a collapsing world and it was run by gamers, what would happen, right? The meme culture aspect, just clicked because, like, let's face it, like attention economy is kind of like, meme coins and memes are the currency of attention. And so it's like very, very universal language of the internet. It's fun, it's relatable. It kind of brings a layer of like humor and personality to the game. And we want to make sure that the players can illustrate and show their personalities. We also thought, like, why not combine it into the game that you're just playing, right? So, as opposed to kind of having something that's a little bit flat, where it's just like, okay, it's pre-apocalyptic, you're trading tokens, you're hacking, power grids or banking. Why not just debate over like Elon, election interference and then use that as an attack? It's just a little bit more fun. So it's like a blend of being serious and some lighthearted chaos that I think makes PvP unique.
All right, I think it's something fishy here. So what's the long-term hook here? How are you making sure players don't bounce after just a few weeks?
It's a very, very good question. So it's something that we put a lot of thought about too. So one of the things that I mentioned previously is that MadWorld PVP is a companion app into our broader ecosystem. So MadWorld PVP kind of builds the groundwork and the evolution of the ecosystem. So from a narrative standpoint, it's the moment when the world collapses. And then the segue into that is, how do you rebuild the world? So there's the storyline and the gameplay of it. And so what we're really hoping for is PvP takes us into our mobile game, which we launched towards the end of February. That is a AAA shooter. That's your kind of fighting over land and building. And it's much more comprehensive. It also has a kind of a multi-season ecosystem, right? So, once the tokens get listed or if they're unlisted, we're rolling those tokens into new seasons to kind of keep interest going. The third is, there's cross-game integrations with our tokens as well as some NFTs that are going to drop very, very soon. And it's tying everything together. As an example, our monument collection, which will be starting to kind of be shown to the community very, very soon. has benefits within the PvP game as well as our main title, and then extends to our broader ecosystem. So I think it's really a combination of like the narrative, the multifunction gameplay across multiple titles, and then the extension and the roadmap that we have against that. So, I mean, I think it has all the makings to keep everyone super, super engaged.
All right, so now let's talk about assets. So I heard your token pricing model is, quote, simple and engaging, end of quote. Care to break that down for us like we're five?
So let's break it down super simple. So imagine each country has like a piggy bank full of tokens. When more people want tokens from the piggy bank, the price goes up. When people start taking tokens out, the price goes down. That's essentially what's called a bonding curve, and it's basically like a supply and demand curve, but it's baked into the game. So think more tokens equals higher prices, fewer tokens equals lower prices. This makes the economy fair and exciting because your decisions to buy, sell, or hold actually impact the game. And so it's like running a little bit of a business, but in a more fun way where you get to socialize and attack other people along the way.
I also heard that there is a Genesis Momentum NFTs around. So what's the big deal with them? How do they shake up strategies and bring extra perks?
So in MadWorld PVP specifically, you will get discounted pricing on the tokens. Right now, every time you're a country token holder, you actually get private access to a channel. You will bypass that gate as a monument holder, and you will also get enhanced voting power in the game, which is just basically a way to bet on who you think is going to steal tokens at the end of the round. So it is a net add and makes the game more impactful for you on the PvP side. On our main title, the interesting thing is it actually adds as it enhances your property value. So think like Monopoly when you add a house and then grow to a mansion. It's like getting to the mansion immediately. So it really kind of enhances your gameplay, your power level, and all that kind of stuff. So it's super, super exciting. It has cross-game utility, and we're pumped about it.
You guys are apparently integrated into like Telegram gaming platform, yeah. So why is that such a game changer for you?
I think it's a game changer for us because it makes everything accessible and social, right? It is a native messenger app, and you should really lean into that. And because MadWorld PVP is, a social strategy game, it's good to have all the chat readily available so that like when something comes up, you're immediately notified. You can jump in the action and insta-play. It's super, super, super important and gives a lot of accessibility to gameplay. It also changes the dynamics. I think because Telegram also has like a massive user base and like that built-in ecosystem for communication, like we're meeting players where they already are. And the platform's native wallet integration makes connecting to the blockchain easy, so there's no clunky setups or third-party tooling. And I really think us leading into the social aspect, and then the global chat means that you can strategize, form alliances, and trash talk and memeify your way to winning. And so it's like kind of turning Telegram into a digital war room. And so it's like a mix of ease, functionality, and social interaction that we think takes the gameplay to the next level.
Okay, I'm asking that because apparently decentralization gets a lot of heat. So how does MadWorld tackle the usual blockchain skepticism?
So one of the things that we are trying to do is we are trying to make the blockchain components as seamless as possible. So, the native wallet integration, the focusing on the gameplay and the value proposition for the user is top of mind so that the user experience is simple, and we're kind of like moving the hard parts away. So it's really kind of like we've put UI first and front and center so that it feels much more like a natural kind of survival of the fittest social game, as opposed to doing all these kind of complicated blockchain things.
Okay, so now I want to ask you to be honest with me, and if you have a list of questions and like pre-answered questions, don't read from them, okay? So what were the hardest lessons that you learned while getting MadWorld PVP off the ground?
Yeah, so I think like the complexities come with describing the bonding curve mechanism. It is a little bit of a cognitive overload. So, we really had to focus in on describing it and turn it into simple analogies. I think that was the hard part. The integration of the blockchain, that was challenging. TON is a newer system, and there were some things during the development process that came up. Thankfully, we were able to be clever and solve it. The other thing too is we wanted to widen the aperture and make it accessible for the ETH maxis and Solana to come soon. But we did make sure that the game is playable for ETH maxis as well as Solana maxis very soon. And so having those bridges and those systems to accept Ethereum or Base or other EVM tokens was definitely a challenge. And then I think the last bit was the importance of community building. We are a team of game devs, and kind of building that audience was a little bit challenging for us. Deciding how we illustrate the mechanics, how we educate the community, and how we engage and share with us. But thankfully, I think we've done a great job on that.
Any tips for other projects trying to combine gaming and blockchain without face planting?
I think be aware of the meta. Move quickly, get in front of communication with your audience, and make sure that the blockchain components make sense in the game. Like if it's a harder user flow, it's going to lower your conversion. So really think about ways to kind of simplify the flow for users.
Okay, now what's next? So spill the tea on any upcoming features or maybe huge ideas you're cooking up for the game.
So I kind of teased a little bit, but we are going to do a Solana bridge that should be coming up within a week. We're also, going to drop our monument collection, which are NFTs, which will be immediately playable within the game. And they will provide you numerous benefits. They include discounted pricing, as well as multipliers on our voting mechanic, which is essentially betting on for free who you think is going to win the round, steal tokens. And those are the main features that we're excited about on PvP. And then it's all going to bridge into our main mobile game, which is MadWorld, which is a AAA PvE shooter.
All right, gotcha. So I got a couple questions left. So yeah, here's the interesting one. So describe the game in one word. And why does that word capture its soul?
One word, I would say dominance. The game is really based on survival of the fittest, being social and ultimately having the largest token market cap, and then getting the DEX listing. To do that, you have to dominate the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. So the last one. What's your elevator pitch to someone still on the fence about playing MadWorld? Screw these guys.
So I would say PvP is a crazy mix of strategy, DeFi, a little bit of gamble and chaos. That's engaging. Think of it as like a global version of the game Risk, but instead of rolling dice, you're controlling nations, attacking others, and then using tokens to decide how you engage in battle. What's wild is the tokens increase in value and price goes up and down with demand and supply, and that ultimately leads to a token listing, which is immediately tradable. And then I think the last bit is because of the cross-chain compatibility, being able to use EVM bridges and soon to be token Solana bridges. It widens the aperture for gameplay. Lastly, we are going through seasons and we're doing token giveaways. That's up for grabs to kind of get people excited and get people to check out the game. And last, it's competitive, fast paced. It's daily daily rounds, and you have to always be looking behind your shoulder, strategizing and making sure that you keep your rewards and your tokens so that you're the first one to get the DEX listing and kind of survive the collapse.
Okay, great. Josh, are you all right? thank you for joining me and telling our audience all about the project, your plans, and yeah, heck, the challenges. So guys, if you made it this far, don't be lazy pricks and push the subscribe button. And also make sure to check out MadWorld and Tone Station, of course, and you might learn something new in the process. So, see you soon!